We've fallen for a felon. This week, an ex-con named Jeremy Meeks was arrested in San Francisco on 5 weapons charges and 1 gang charge. More importantly, he's crushingly gorgeous. Meeks' mugshot has garnered tens of thousands of likes on Facebook. And comments like this one from Vanessa Vieira. If this guy broke into my house, I'd make him forget why he broke in within 30 seconds. Laugh out loud. And Lady Santiago writes, I got 50 shades on that man. Oh God, yes, many exclamation points. Meeks, who's 30, has been linked to an increase in local robberies and shootings. And a spokesman for the Stockton PD calls him, quote, one of the most violent criminals in the Stockton area. So, will the genetically gifted be convicted? Considering his prior incarceration and teardrop tattoo, it's not looking good for Mr. Good Looking. Joanne, let's go to you. You're an expert in this field. I honestly can't tell when guys are that good looking. I looked at this guy and he didn't seem so hot to me.
With our societal standards of beauty, typically a symmetrical face with certain distinguishing characteristics like high cheekbones, a great jawline.
Look, I'm same on both sides. I got the cheeks.
That is typically what attracts someone. However, when I see a facial tattoo, I run. So I would not be one of those ones commenting. Although I'll read all the comments because they're quite hilarious.
Gavin, what do you think? What is it about these kind of light-skinned black guys with the blue eyes? People love those guys, don't they?
Yeah, I find I've never got along with those guys. I find they're soft because they got laid too much in high school. But what's sad about this guy is we're talking about a felon, a major criminal, and just because he's got these unbelievable swimming pool eyes that you just want to dive into and swim around, and mile-high cheekbones and perfectly sculpted chin and what I presume is the most sculpted body you've ever seen, with rippling pecs and a torso that's like, who knows what goes down south of the belt. I don't even want to know. He's probably heaven on earth. It's just Adonis of a man, just a striking. And the fact that he's a bad boy and he's mean and he does not
Let's
take
get
any
Andy a
crap.
piece of cheese.
Just because of that, they forget that he's a criminal?
Yeah.
Wake up, America.
Imagine if he was clean shaven. Wouldn't you like to come up behind him and just stroke his face to see how clean it was?
I mean, sure, people look at him, they think of waking up just on his chest and the sun is pouring in and you're like, you want a coffee? And then he comes in just wearing a sweater and nothing else and he's like, are you cold?
Andy, what do you think? I mean, do you think
I think Gavin forgot to mention his luscious lips.
Yes. It's like 100 eloquent bees stung him in all the right spots.
But look, this is, what a waste. I mean, I believe it was Peter Parker's Uncle Ben who said, with great looks comes great responsibility.
Yes, yes.
All the ways Meeks could have used his looks for the good of society, being a model, being an actor, being a quarterback, the pinnacle, being a TV host.
Yes.
And he chose a life of crime. What a waste. The biggest thing I don't understand, the lighting. The lighting in that picture.
It's the best.
I've never seen a mugshot with lighting that
yeah, that's
good.
the thing. Was this just a trick photography? David, I mean, I know you're attracted to this guy. I can see it. But we're convicting him before his trial. You know, maybe, who knows what he did? We don't even know. We're just taking the police's word for it.
I think he's guilty of stealing my heart.
Okay. All right, coming up.
I want to first apologize to the light-skinned guys who had to sit through that, but really, if you have some of the features that were described in this video, then you know that this is kind of nothing new. Some of these comments are nothing new. But there's so much to unpack in this small clip that I'm sure I'm going to miss some things. So I want to also apologize for that. But in this video, I'm going to cover who these people are, who some of these people are, the key points of what they said and what it means, how these points relate to the Manosphere, and at the end I'm going to throw my an interesting twist into it. But first thing before I get started, I want to point out that this was shown on Fox News. As you may know, Fox News is one of the most watched American conservative cable news networks. And by conservative, I'm meaning they lean more towards the Republican Party. They believe in ideas like traditional family values, where the husband is the hard worker and brings the resources. while the wife stays at home and has the supportive role. It's very important that you understand the context of why these people are saying this on Fox News, why Fox News would even allow this kind of thing. Now, this is Tom Shiloh, whatever it is, a stand-up comedian, an author, and a talk show host. He's 56 as the time that I made this video. And, as I go through this video, you'll realize that a lot of these people are old. There isn't really anything noteworthy to this clip other than the fact that he doesn't make a distinction between light skin and biracial. So, take that as you will. Next, we have Joanne Nosasinski, an actress, a co-host, and, wait for it, a beauty pageant title holder. Keep this in mind because I'm going to bring this up towards the end of this video because it's significant. But for now, I will say that within her racial group, she is deemed as the beauty standard. Keep that in mind. Let's listen again at what she had to say.
Beauty, typically a symmetrical face with certain distinguishing characteristics like high cheekbones, a great jawline.
Look, I'm same on both sides. I got the cheeks.
That is typically what attracts someone. However, when I see a facial tattoo, I run. So I would not be one of those.
I'm going to be honest. She finds him attractive, but has to say that she will quote unquote run in order to please the group of men that she thinks she will receive the most benefits from. Remember, she's on a conservative platform with conservative men, and she believes in the traditional family values. Do you think that she believes that she would receive the most benefits from a guy who gets a lot of girls? Or do you think that she thinks that Jeremy Meeks has traditional family values? I want you light-skinned guys to keep this in mind. A lot of women who think that you are attractive probably doesn't think that you have traditional values right off the bat. So now, here is where the video is going to get a bit deep.
I've never got along with those guys. I find they're soft because they got laid too much in high school. But what's sad about this guy is we're talking about a felon, a major criminal, and just because he's a bad boy and he's mean and he does not
Let's
take
get
any
Andy a
crap,
piece of cheese.
just because of that, they forget that he's a criminal?
Yeah.
Wake up, America.
Imagine.
If you are one of those light-skinned guys that believe that the light-skinned guy's soft myth comes from dark-skinned guys, then to be honest, I kind of side-eye you. You have to realize that dark-skinned guys, a lot of them are too weak and powerless to come up with their own narratives. So they have to adopt them from whites. As you can see, the dark-skinned and white guys cry about the girls choosing the light-skinned guys over them. Light-skinned guys are who these women find attractive. This is quintessential for you to understand the manosphere. But I haven't mentioned the manosphere yet, so let me reel it back. Now, bonus points if you guys are able to recognize this guy. This is Gavin McInnes. He is a Canadian writer, podcaster, and far-right political commentator, a host, and the co-founder of Vice. You might have seen the Vice media group on YouTube. He relocated to the United States in 2001. He's a 52-year-old, another old guy. But you know, he kind of seems normal. Nothing really off about him until you do a bit more digging. I did a bit of digging and I found out that this guy is the founder of the Proud Boys. The same Proud Boys who had some members who were involved in storming the Capitol back in 2021 for Trump. Now, at this point, the complexity of the situation just went to a whole new level, but we're going to keep going. I hope you all are starting to connect some dots here. I'm going to read part of an article titled Proud Boys and Antifa. Who are they and what do they want? Now it says here that the Proud Boys was founded in 2016 by Canadian-British right-wing activist Gavin McGuinness. The Proud Boys is a far-right anti-immigrant all-male group with a history of violence against its left-wing opponent. Their platform, such as it is, includes Trumpian ideas, glorify the entrepreneur, close the border, libertarianism, which is give everyone a gun, in welfare, and traditional gender roles, venerate the housewife. So we see just a small snippet of Proud Boys and their ideologies. Now let's take a look at the Manosphere and see if their ideologies kind of line up with the Proud Boys. I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm going to read from mensgroup.com. What is the Manosphere? And it says, the Manosphere ideology is centered on male separatism and strongly believes that feminism has corrupted society. All the Manosphere groups share something in common. They're all misogynist and anti-feminist movement that believes feminism makes women dangerous to men. It is a strong belief in all Manosphere groups, as it is among other Manosphere groups, that women follow a predefined pattern regarding dating and marriage. They believe all young and attractive women are promiscuous. They also believe that women purposely practice hypergamy, where they have sex with different men and abandon them when a higher value man shows interest. Interesting. Manosphere followers believe women naturally gravitate towards alpha men. These are attractive men who mistreat them, further solidifying the women's belief in feminism. Interesting. Now, you all are free to make the connections that you want to, but in my opinion, I am connecting the Manosphere with the Proud Boys. They both believe in that feminism is ruining the traditional family values, so they need to go into a all-male group to attack these problems. Now, in the earlier clip, who do you think that they are describing as the alpha male that is pulling all these women away from their traditional gender roles?
High cheekbones, a great jawline.
Look, I'm same on both sides.
striking
I got the
eyes.
cheeks. A light-skinned black guys with the blue eyes. People love those guys.
Adonis of a man.
Light-skinned guys, particularly if we are good looking, aren't really liked in these sort of Manosphere groups deep down. So I don't really understand why I see some of you guys in these groups. But it's just as I said in my previous video with the illusion of inclusion. I guess you guys just haven't gotten your wake-up call yet, but it doesn't really take me a lot of hints to understand that I'm not really accepted in these groups. And I kind of don't want to be honest. I'm going to include all of these articles that I read in the description below. I'm going to do more videos around this because there is a ton of information out there. Now, here is the part of the video where many people are really going to disagree. So far, I only talked about the white male groups in the manosphere, the white side of the manosphere. But I'm just going to say it. If you closed your eyes, you could have just as easily replaced white guys and that white girl with dark-skinned guys and a light-skinned girl, and the conversation would have been completely the same, the exact same. I mentioned it earlier how a lot of these dark-skinned dudes cry about not being chosen by the women in their group. And unfortunately, there are many light-skinned women in these black manosphere spaces who accompany them, co-sign their talking points, and it's really a spectacle to see. And it isn't lost on me that these light-skinned women find any reason to quote-unquote run from the attractive light-skinned guy. To me, I think that their reasoning is the same, and it's just to cover up for their intimidation to attractive light-skinned guys, especially if she's a conservative. But you don't have to believe me. Just go and look at these Black Manosphere videos, and you are going to run across videos where they talk about how women didn't want them and they went for the guys who were light skinned, curly hair, any colored eyes, the guys who they deemed as cute or whatever.
Curiosity, before we go further, what was your earliest introduction to colorism when you were a kid?
Ooh,
I figured I'd catch you with that.
yeah, basically the first time you go to school, okay, and you notice it right away. There's a difference.
Mhm.
You know, if you're darker, there's a how can I say hierarchy. The lighter skinned boys with better hair and lighter eyes, they're gonna get picked first, and the women are gonna swoon over them.
Mhm.
And according to where you are in that hierarchy or along that spectrum, okay, you can get mistreated because if you're dark and you got 4C hair, you're gonna get ridiculed,
Yeah.
even as a man, even as a
I mean, listen to this. Dark skin. It ain't dark skin. You got a dark soul, dark heart, dark attitude, and you had a light skinned boyfriend. You have made me $1,000, and I'm gonna go trick it off on light skinned strippers.
Yes, like most black men.
Yeah,
You
bitch,
prefer
like you.
lighter
You had a
skin.
light skinned boyfriend, fool.
Dark skin.
You had a light
That's
skinned
why I can't
boyfriend. You had a
compete,
light skinned
because I
boyfriend,
have dark
colorist. You had a
skin,
light skinned
because
boyfriend, you
I'm dark
colorist. You had a
skin.
light
That's
skinned
why
boyfriend, you colorist. So he could have gave you some light skinned babies. You out of your fucking mind with that shit. Go ahead. So you
Kevin,
gonna have your light
I'm
skinned babies with
sorry.
him?
Kevin, I'm
Self-hate? You
sorry.
gonna breed yourself out
Kevin,
because you African?
Kevin, I respect your
No, you don't respect my show. You talking this bullshit. We're off the chain now.
The light skinned guy being soft myth is actually a white supremacist concept that is part of the culture, part of the white culture and part of the black culture. I don't take any of this lightly. It isn't lost on me that there's been some guys in these Manosphere groups that have become very violent when they don't get the women that they think that they deserve. I remember one time on TikTok I saw a white girl joke about cheating on her white boyfriend with a light-skinned guy, and a white dude came in her comment section and said that she would basically, or he would basically off both of them. This is all quote-unquote jokes, by the way. A lot of these guys believe that if they just work hard and hoard resources, that these women would have no choice but to become acquiescent to them, to their demands. But as time goes on, women are able to get resources on their own. They don't need to depend on a man she doesn't desire for resources. In fact, she can choose men who she finds attractive, which is what all of this is about. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos regarding the manosphere. This video was just the scratch in the surface, the tip of the iceberg in comparison to the things that I found